Hi guys, it's Goddess Awake here again. Hope you're all doing really well and hope you're all happy and safe. So today this video is going to be about ego death, or as I like to call it, ego rebirth or reintegration. Because ego death kind of sounds a little bit like it's something negative, something that we should try and kill off or avoid or suppress. Whereas if we call it ego rebirth or reintegration, it's a lot more positive sounding. And I think to me, it fits more along the lines of what an ego death is. Because we're not actually killing anything off, we're more rebirthing ourselves and letting another part of ourselves be in charge. This video, I've been thinking about making this video for a while. I just wasn't sure what I wanted to say or how I wanted to say it. But recently, there's a group that I follow on Facebook, and somebody had posted like, "Can you explain ego death? Like, what is it to you? How would you explain it to somebody?" And the answer just came out exactly how I wanted it to come out. So I've gone back, found that answer, made notes on what I said, and obviously added to them. Um, and yeah, I think that is probably it was just the way I wanted to describe it. It came out perfectly at the time. So yeah, I'm going to use that answer in this video, use it to expand on and to explain ego death or ego rebirth or even ego reintegration. So when we have an ego rebirth or ego death, in fact, for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to call it a rebirth from now on, or reintegration. I'm going to stop calling it ego death. So when we are rebirthing our ego or reintegrating our ego, we no longer come from a place of service to self. You come from a place of service to others. So it's not all me, 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 I'm the center of the universe. It's we are one, we are all together, we are all the same race, the same consciousness, we're unity, and you come from a place of service to others. So you're not thinking about how much money you can earn, or all the cars you can have, or the big house that you want to be living in. And the flashy things like that. You're thinking about, how can I help other people? How can I support other people? Or how can I serve other people? How can I be of service to other people? And that could be something like, if you're a hairdresser, you're serving other people. It could be something like, if you want to be a spiritual teacher or a spiritual guide, you're serving others. If you're a healer, you're definitely serving others. If you're helping humanity wake up right now, then that's service to others. If you're a doctor, that's service to others. If you're a waitress, that's service to others. There's so many ways we can do service to others. It doesn't always have to be super spiritual and super profound. Do you know what I mean? It can be any service to others, as long as you're coming from a place that thinks about other people as well as yourself, then you come into it from a place of service of others. Um, so what else? Yeah, we let go of that separation we feel in 3D, and we see each other as one. That's part of the 5D consciousness as well. When you let go of that ego monkey mind running the whole thing, and you let go of judgment, and you let go of that separation, and it's not us and them, and oh, they're different to me, I'm different to you, we've got different colour skin, we come from different places, different sexualities. That's all about division and separation. When we let go of when we let go of our ego in control, or when we integrate the ego, we start seeing each other as one. So you're not going to hurt somebody else because that's going to hurt you, and you see that. And if you actually love other people as you love yourself as well, you just love everybody, give them that love that they deserve and respect, because they are part of source, they are divine just as you are, part of you. You're all part of the same energy, and we've all got source in us, and we are all the human race, so we are all one. We may have as individual differences and perspectives or gifts or abilities or hobbies or interests, but we are all humans on planet Earth. And yeah, when you let go of your ego, or you reintegrate it back into you and not let it be in control, then you feel that a lot more. and it's easier to be in 5D consciousness when you feel that as well, when you feel connected as one rather than that separation and division. um so yeah, so like I said, we're all divine beings and we all come from the same source and we all have the same divine spark in us. You are an extension of me and I'm an extension of you. And if we can start seeing other people like that and people around us like that, then we tend to treat them a lot nicer and give them a lot more support. And because you're giving them that love that you're giving to yourself, and you know that if you hurt them, you're hurting yourself. Um, and it's coming together in that unity consciousness as well, isn't it? Like, as we're moving into the 5D consciousness, we are coming into that, like, we are one and we're not separate, we're an extension of each other consciousness. So it's easier to let go of that egotistical aspect of, no, we are separate and all that division. So yeah, as we move into the higher vibrations and higher frequencies of the fifth dimension, that's going to be a lot easier. It'll just become more natural because you'll be vibrating a lot higher. Yeah, so also with that, I've got my little notepad here with all my notes so I remember to say everything. Because otherwise, when I come and do my video, my brain just goes blank and I can't remember what I want to say or anything. So I've got my trusty notebook again. So yeah, that's what I'm reading at the moment. So yeah, when we learn to integrate our shadow side and we're no longer ruled by it, that's also when we integrate our ego. Ego is kind of like that monkey mind that's like, it's constantly trying to distract you and it's constantly trying to rule the roost and get you to make decisions based on what that wants. It's like you're feeding it, basically. It wants you to feed it constantly. So if we learn to integrate our shadow side instead of avoiding it or avoiding dealing with it because it might be negative, or if we just want to be positive all the time and not integrating that, then that's still coming from a place of ego. When you integrate your shadow side and you love it and accept it, you work with it and you own it, because we've all got a shadow side. We all have. We can't all be positivity and light 24/7. It's not realistic. We all have a shadow side and we're all here to embrace our shadow side and also work on our shadow self, the bits of us that need healing and working on. But once you have that awareness that they are your shadow side and your shadow self and maybe like your dark traits, then you're no longer being ruled by it. It's not the one that's making all the decisions. It's not that little devil on your shoulder saying, do this, do that, do the other. You're just like, yeah, okay, you're saying that, it's fine, but we're going to do this anyway. We know what we're doing. It's all good. And sometimes our shadow side is not necessarily a negative thing. It can be super positive. It's just how you view it. And if you can accept those parts of yourself and accept that we've all got those parts of us in us. We've all got a shadow self and we've all got bits that need healing and working on. We've all got little quirks and isms, and yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's that duality, isn't it, that we experience here on earth. Like, we can't understand the light until we understand the dark fully, and we can't be a master of those things until we've understood it deeply and we've been through it all and we've integrated our shadow side. We've accepted who we are and we've accepted that we've got potential to have this shadow side. We've got potential to do dark things if we choose to, if we go like really into our ego and shadow side and be completely ruled by it. So having that awareness there that we all have the potential and we all have a shadow side, it really does help you not get ruled by the ego mind anymore, and it helps you step into your higher self. And if you can, like I've just said, like, don't be thinking that you have to kill your shadow side off or your ego off, because you don't. You need to just love it, accept that it's there and it's part of you, it's part of everybody, but just don't let it make all the decisions for you in your life. But let it make the decisions it needs to make to keep you safe and to keep you alive. But in day-to-day life, come from your higher self. Be aware of what your ego is saying, but don't act on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's it. Just don't act on it, I guess, because we know it's there. And when we let it just do whatever it wants and we don't challenge it or go, okay, that's what you're thinking, but I'm going to do something different. If we just go straight with the ego mind, we're not showing ourselves self-love, and we are not loving every aspect of ourselves and integrating it. Um, yeah, so let's move on to the next point. Okay. So yeah, we don't kill anything off. We just learn to love it and accept it and not be ruled by it. So that just goes on to what I was just saying. Like, you have a love for it, accept that it's there, have that awareness that it's there. Don't try and get rid of it. Just try not to be ruled by it. Um, yeah, we all have a egoic monkey mind, and it's constantly trying to distract us, and it's constantly trying to get its needs met and to keep us in its comfort zone. Um, And the more we sort of let that take control and keep us in our comfort zone, the more we're going to come from a place of ego and service to self rather than service to others. Um, yeah, okay, so what's next? So, yeah, we've got to let the higher self make the decisions, and we've come from a place of love from the heart instead of the mind, then that's going to happen a lot easier. And also, as we move into 5D consciousness, that's going to be a little bit easier as well. As we're vibrating higher, our frequency is higher. Um, and the more you can get in touch with your higher self, the more you're going to come from a place of love. You're going to come from a divine place. It's going to come from the place for your highest good and the greater good for everybody else as well, and for humanity. Whereas when we let our monkey mind or our ego mind run the shop, it's not coming from that place. It's coming from a place to keep us small and to keep us in this comfort zone, and not to grow and expand, and to keep us separate from each other. Um, so yeah, when we open our heart to others and ourselves, that's important. Not only should we stop judging other people and be fearful of other people, we need to do that for ourselves as well. That's super important. And that's like number one on the self-love, self-care chart. Open your heart to others and yourself. Let that division go. Treat everybody as an extension of you. We all come from this, like I said, the same divine spark. We're all from the same human race. And the more you come from a heart place rather than a mind place, the more you are moving into your higher self. You're raising your vibration and your frequency, and you'll make new connections with people because you're opening your heart to others, and you're not judging, and you're not judging yourself. And that can be something as, like, for example, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. That's judging yourself, and that's not coming from your higher self. That's not coming from that place of knowing that you are a spark of the divine creator. Um, when we come from our mind, it's holding our vibration down, and it's holding our awareness down. Um, and it's going to be harder to integrate your ego as well as your shadow side and anything else. So when we come from our heart place and we integrate our ego and our shadow side and everything else, that allows us to step into our full power and our full and I can't say it, authenticity, without fear or doubt or judgment. So that's being who you really are. It's being who you want to be without fear of what anybody thinks, without any fear of any judgment or any self-doubt or anything. Like, sometimes that negativity can come from inside rather than other people, and if you integrate your ego, that judgment that you're giving yourself is going to become less and less and less. And the more you start to not believe what the ego is saying to you, the more you're going to tune into your higher self, open your heart space, and that ego is just going to get quieter and quieter, and it's not going to run the shop because you're in control. Um, and stepping into your full power, that means not only following all your life dreams that you've wanted to achieve and being whoever you are and who you really are and who you really want to be. It means, like, as well, when you're stepping into your full power, you're going to bring in your psychic gifts. You're going to start tuning into that, and you're going to start noticing psychic things happening. You're going to notice synchronicities. You're going to notice you're going to get more and more downloads. you're going to move quicker into the 5D consciousness because you're integrated, you come from a place of balance, your heart is wide open, and you've let go of all fear and judgment and doubt, and it just makes so much more room for love and creativity to come in. And once that creativity and that love comes in, you're opening yourself up to so much more. It's like Pandora's box, but with good things. It'll bring in all your psychic abilities. You'll figure out which ones are your strongest ones. Your dreams and ambitions will start coming to the forefront of your mind. You want to be living the life that you came here to live, rather than the life that you may be living just to make ends meet, sort of thing, or the stepping stone life to that you might be living in the moment. So yeah, be who you really are. Don't let ego hold you back. Don't let the monkey mind hold you back. Just own it. Spread your light all over the world. Do exactly what you want to do. If you want to follow your dreams and ambitions, go for it. And that is another super fast way to get your ego to reintegrate and to love every aspect of yourself. And being who you really are as well. Like, that's what we came here to do. We came here to be who we are. We came here to spread our light, our weirdness. We came here to shine all that love on people and open people's minds. And especially if you're a starseed or a light worker, this is super important because you're here on a super massive mission for humanity. So step into your highest power as soon as you can. You'll be amazed at just how much better life is when you let go of your ego mind. I know it can be easier said than done sometimes. I really do know that. I've suffered with anxiety and depression myself. I've suffered from psychic attack and all sorts of different negative routes where the ego's been in control or my shadow side's been in control. And it's left me open to, because I've been vibrating so low or whatever, it's left me open to psychic attack, it's left me open to energy vampires. But when you integrate your ego, it makes it harder for that sort of stuff to happen and harder for psychic attack or negative entities to come and mess with you. Because you know who you are, you know what you want out of life, you know where you're coming from, and you're solid in that. Yeah, you're solid in your mission and you're solid in who you are and what you believe in and where you're coming from. So also as well, ego gets such a bad rep all the time. Everyone's like, oh, you've got a massive ego, and as soon as you get into the spiritual side of things, ego is just there all the time, and it does get a bad rep, and it gets talked about like it's something to kill off, or it's something to avoid or suppress or push away, and it's really not. It's the internal system that keeps us alive and safe. Like, for example, if you were to walk out into the road and a bus was coming, if you didn't have that ego, you'd just walk out in front of the bus and you'd probably get run over. Whereas that ego mind kicks in the fight or flight response, and then obviously you're in survival mode and you're like, whoa, there's a bus, I need to step back, I don't want to get run over and die. So the ego definitely does help keep us safe and alive in dangerous situations. So, like another example, if you was on safari in Africa or wherever, and a lion came at you, if you had no ego or survival instinct, you'd probably just go up to it and be like, "Oh, nice cat." Do you know what I mean? Stroke it, and the lion's coming at you like, "I'm having you for dinner." That ego is the thing that kicks in so that you would either run or you will fight or you're just going to freeze. So yeah, it keeps us safe. It's only when it's out of sync and it's running the shop completely, that's when it's a problem, because obviously we're not being our authentic selves. We're not living our best lives. We're not coming from our highest place that we can come from. We're not connected to our higher self. That's obviously when it's a problem, when it's got completely out of hand and it's running every decision, everything. But yeah, it's definitely there to keep us safe, and it's obviously that reptilian part of our brain, and it can be overstimulated by reptilians for one, dark entities for two, all those kind of things will go straight in if your ego is completely out of whack and in control and running the shop. It's kind of like a petulant child running around like, I'm the ego, woo, let's create havoc. So yeah, if you can learn to love it, accept it, and integrate it, you're going to make yourself less vulnerable to psychic attack, less vulnerable to negative entities to come and mess with you, and you're going to get higher information coming from your higher self. Excuse me. Also, yeah, okay, so I was watching, I don't know if you guys have heard of Elizabeth April. She's an amazing channeler. She's from America. Highly recommend you go check her channel out. That's Elizabeth April. Love you so much, Elizabeth April. I was watching one of her videos last night, and she was talking about ego and ego death and stuff like that, and why ego is important. And she was saying, like, this is an aspect of it I'd not fully considered myself either. Like, obviously, we know that it keeps us safe in danger and that kind of thing, but she was also saying, like, our ego is there to tell us when we're tired, it tells us to go to bed. When we're hungry, it tells us to go and get something to eat. And when we're thirsty, it tells us to go get a drink. So the ego is a super useful tool, and we need it to survive the 3D world, and our bodies need it to survive the 3D world and stuff like that. But it's obviously when it is completely in control, and it's all that is in control, and it's all that's making the decisions, and that's obviously when it's a problem, and we need to learn to love it and accept it and integrate it, but not be ruled by it again. um And yeah, I don't think we should demonize the ego anymore. I think let's accept it. It's there for a reason. If we didn't need it, we wouldn't have it. It's super, super powerful. Um, and we need to learn to embrace it. We do. We need to learn to embrace it. As spiritual people as well, we definitely need to. We need to not be afraid of it. We need to be aware of it, but not let it shine over everything. Just be like, oh, okay, my ego wants me to do this, but that's not in alignment with my highest good right now. So I'm going to do what I want to do instead, which is come from my highest self and my heart place. It's not come from my mind, my monkey mind, my egoic mind. It's not something that's tried to keep me small and in my comfort zone. It's something that's tried to make me grow and become a better person. So embrace your ego, embrace your shadow side, but don't be ruled by it. I think that is the main point today. I guess the next thing as well, like when you've dealt with your ego, and ego is always there, and you always need to sort of rebalance it. If it's getting a bit out of whack again, come back and balance yourself, ground yourself, cleanse yourself of any negative energy. And meditate, come back to your higher self, raise your vibration, and yeah, come from a place of heart, not the mind. And learn to love your ego mind, because it is there to keep you safe and protect you, and we definitely need our ego. And then I guess, yeah, that's what I was going to say before I went off on a bit of a tangent. So once we've dealt with the ego mind and we're all sort of in balance with that, and we're on a more positive path with that, we're in harmony with it, high self's in charge mainly, that's all good, then lo and behold, the spiritual ego, that kicks in. So then we've dealt with all the ego stuff for the 3D and our own personal ego, and then all of a sudden we have this spiritual ego that comes out of nowhere. I think I'm going to talk about that in another video, just so that this video is not super, super long and it's not too dense. Yeah, I think spiritual ego is definitely a whole video by itself. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and then I'm going to go and do the spiritual ego video straight away, so that it's ready and good to go, and you've got both sides of the coin then to look at. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, don't forget to subscribe. If you've got any more questions about ego, rebirth and reintegration, comment below. If you've got anything further to add to that, you can always comment below as well. I'm sure my followers would be super interested to hear any more information that they can get on that one. Also, you can find me obviously on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Etsy. Just search for Goddess Awake on all those. And stay tuned for the spiritual ego video. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that straight after this one. So yeah, okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I will speak to you guys very soon. Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye for now.